Spirit visited me in my dream while camping. I just got back from a camping trip and wanted to run this by a community that might be able to help me understand what I experienced. So we planned our trip around this one location, so my partner could meet up with a friend to ride bikes. Braley Pond. We arrived midday and set up camp, which wasn't much BC. We had a camper van, so decided to take the dogs for a hike. As soon as we made our way onto the trail, I got a severe nosebleed. So much so that it made me dizzy. We decided to turn back since I didn't really have anything to use to stop the bleeding. When we got back to camp, we decided to take a nap as we were tired from the long drive, and the nosebleed probably added to my fatigue. As we were laying there, my partner was reading comments about the campsite we chose and came across a comment someone made that the area was well known for being haunted, but this reviewer claimed they didn't have any experiences while visiting. I said aloud, "You know, I've heard if you want to communicate with spirits you have to be assertive and ask them something specific." So I then said, "If someone is here that wants to communicate, give us a sign. Try to close the van doors." We had them propped open so the breeze could blow in. Immediately after saying this, 2 large walnuts hit the van roof. We both jumped, then talked ourselves down and took a nap. That night we both had nightmares. I woke my partner up first when he was making a muffled yell sound in his sleep. The next morning he told me he had dreamt a man in a flannel shirt was trying to break into the van. I'll come back to that. We went back to sleep, but he woke me up shortly after because I was yelling in my sleep. I don't really remember the dream but remember a young woman with long dark hair wearing a white nightgown in my dream. I didn't tell him at the time, but it was a lot like the ghost in the movie The Ring, so I was able to fall back asleep quickly as I figured that's what inspired it. I immediately went back into another dream that I can't recall the details of, but she was there again. My partner woke me up again and I thanked him. I thought it was weird as I never go back into a dream. By this time I figured that was it, and I'd be able to sleep and have a normal dream. Nope. Third dream was normal at first. I was at a barbecue with my partner's coworkers. Everyone was enjoying themselves, but then I noticed a little girl staring very closely at a TV. I haven't watched The Ring in years, but I remember the woman crawls out of the TV, so again, this could be inspiration from that. Anyway, I felt compelled to push the little girl out of the way so I could face this, what I would consider very evil entity, once and for all. I knew in my dream it was the same woman from my other dreams that night, and I was mad that she was disrupting my sleep yet again. When I looked at the TV, I saw a small round image, the size of a quarter, with her in the center. Same long dark hair and white nightgown. I crouched down and looked into the hole like I was looking into a keyhole and suddenly was transported, for the lack of a better word, to the surrounding woods of our campsite. At least that's where I knew I was in the dream, but it didn't look exactly the same in real life. In the woods I spun around looking for her, but I was alone. Then, suddenly and with conviction, I yelled, "Rebecca! What do you want? Show yourself!" The ground in front of me had small leaves that began to rustle and then created a gentle vortex/tornado, as if she was going to appear. I didn't feel afraid, but eager to hear her message. That's when my partner woke me, for the 3rd time, saying I had been screaming in my sleep. I tried to stay awake for as long as possible, not wanting to be revisited by the woman, but then I came to terms with it as figured it might be easier the next time, since the last dream ended less scary. Unfortunately, I didn't dream again. The next day when we had cell service, I was able to search online, Braley Pond plus Rebecca. I only got one hit, a young woman that went missing over 30 years ago in the Staunton, Virginia area. Her body was never found. A man confessed a few years later that he killed her, but in his confession he said he placed her body in the Staunton landfill. Horrible. However, in his statement, he mentioned they drove to Braley Pond beforehand. Since my dream, I've thought about this a lot, and while it doesn't all add up, maybe there is a link here. I also read others have seen a woman on the shore of the pond in a white nightgown. Furthermore, the area is most known for a gang murder in 2003, and that's where the locals consider the area haunted. When I researched that and showed my partner the men that were charged for the murder, my partner said one of them looked a lot like the guy trying to break into our van. It's all very odd. I just wanted to share it to see if anyone can shed light on this or connect the dots. or tell me if it was probably just a dream.